Anyway, so going back to that. So the Republicans have announced that they are going to forward yet another version of the American Health Care Act. And the rumor is at this point that they're going to try and force a showdown vote potentially within the next week.
None of this is going to end well.
Yeah, I agree.
It's all politics.
I agree it's not going to end well.
And I don't know that it's something that should be managed at the federal level on the scale that it is. And I still take issue. One of my main concerns, if they do nothing else, if they remove the tax penalty for not having health care, that would be enough for me.
Well, you know what? I can totally understand that. The flip side is I also see why it was there in the first place.
Why? Why?
Because it's a no-brainer, actually. I mean, the fact that there were so many subsidies. No, the fact that there are so many subsidies in place for people who are of low or no income has to be offset somehow. And so they need healthy people to contribute to that bottom line. And so if you're not paying in,
but people who have money have
or
healthcare.
using the healthcare, yes. Well, but if you're not paying in or using the healthcare, then you're basically not helping the system. You're not offsetting.
But you're making the assumption that you have
I'm not making the assumption.
You kind of are. In the statement that you said, you're making the assumption that if you're not paying, then you're not helping the situation. And that's not where the problem lies.
Okay,
the problem isn't that people don't pay for health care. The problem is that people can't afford health care. So they need to address the affordability of health care.
Well, but that's the thing. If you can't afford health care under the Obamacare system,
so it's extortion,
you get
Joe.
Basically free health care.
It's not free. You have to pay for it. Somebody has to pay for it. So what they're saying is because you're too cheap or you're too indigent or whatever the situation is, we're going to take money out of my pocket.
Yes.
So that you can have
Obamacare
it. I don't
basically
think
is
that's
Rob
fair.
Peter to pay Paul. That's pretty much how that works.
Yeah, and that's not cool, man. And to make it worse, because now they're robbing me to pay for somebody else's health care, I can no longer afford to pay for my own health care.
So I'm
getting penalized.
It's Rob CJ.
Because I can't pay for my own health care.
Before we get too far.
It's Rob CJ to pay Todd.
I don't think it matters. I don't think we should really be putting that into the conversation. It doesn't matter if they're indigent or if they're black or if they're white or if they're Italian.
I don't want to pay for indigents.
The indigent people are just as valid as us.
Yes, they are. But why make it a tax penalty? Why not make it a tax benefit? Why not instead give indigents the money to pay for health care? Why take money from somebody because they can't afford it instead of giving them the money to afford it?
How would you give them the money?
It's a tax credit. Okay, they do it all the time. You've got welfare. You've got Social Security.
That sounds fantastic.
You had Medicare.
But how are you paying for it then?
It's the same thing. They're already taxing people. Why do you have to make it a tax penalty? You already have it built into the system that this health care is going to be paid for. It's already built in. It was always built in. That's what Medicare was. They had an existing program that they broke.
Okay.
So they made a new program, and now they're breaking that.
Well, I still think you've got too many people to not have more income coming in to the system somehow.
I just don't think it should be a tax penalty.
That's the problem with Medicare.
It shouldn't be a tax penalty.
There's too many people draining the
pool. What is causing the drain?
Replenishment.
What's causing the drain? What is causing the drain?
Well,
people going to the ER with the flu, right?
No,
that's basically what it is.
No, the primary factor is that people are living longer than Medicare was ever intended to subsidize people.
So if we give them health care, they're going to continue to live longer. Let's kill them off.
I see. So now you're saying...
Where's the logic in that? We're going to make you healthier so you can live even longer so it can cost us even more money.
Interesting.
That alone defeats that as an option.
I'm very concerned about CJ's point of view on this.
I'm just saying, if you eliminate the IRS as the enforcement agency, I'm good on it. Because I think everybody should have health care. I think health care should not cost the exorbitant amount that it does.
But wait, you just said if they all have health care, they're going to live longer.
I'm all for living longer.
That's not what he just said, is it? He just said let them die, didn't he?
I'm saying if
you're
reasoning,
more proactive than that. I think you wanted them murdered.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right.
It's not that. I'm saying if you're going to force me to help somebody live longer because them living longer is costing money, that doesn't make sense. You can't tell me we need you to pay more money because these people are living longer because they're not getting health care. What? That doesn't make sense. That's what you said.
What I'm saying is that they're just living longer in general because of what we have learned about eating a more balanced diet,
but they're
avoiding
not.
the saturated fats and the so on and so
forth. The people that are putting the
forth.
drain on healthcare are exactly the opposite of the person you're talking about. Because the people who do what you're talking about are taking care of
So
themselves.
you want to penalize people who are actually born with some kind of a pre-existing condition?
No, I don't.
It sounds like what you just said to me.
And the term you just used is a term that also describes the second thing I don't like about the system. The first thing is the tax penalty. The second thing is the middleman. They invented the term pre-existing condition. I can care less what your condition is. I think you should be taken care of.
Okay.
I just don't think we need to have this whole
shot, evidently.
Insurance agency that manages all of this. Why do I have to have my health managed by somebody who does not know me, does not know my doctor, does not know my needs, does not know my history, does not know my background, and then once they are given that information, use that information to deny me the care that I need?
Okay, I think I see your point, but so what you're suggesting then is if
I
drop
the mic? Can I take
no. If they were to do away with the penalties at come tax time for not having health care,
Chevelle, you already had to buy a new fan. You want to buy a new mic?
And you got sick, would you go to the doctor or would you wait until you got hospitalized?
I have been sick and not gone to the doctor. I don't go to the
doctor.
doctor.
So you're the problem. You are the problem.
Let me finish it. I have not gone to the doctor if I've had a flu. I have not gone to the doctor if I've had a cough. I've had probably what could be considered pneumonia and not gone to the doctor and been fine because I take care of myself when I get sick. Or I have family or some other social group that I can go to help take care of me.
Yeah, but
that
you're
is where the true problem
gambling.
lies.
No, you're still gambling
It's not
because
a gamble.
you might get yourself in over your head where you can't do something about it in a timely fashion.
I am not saying that people should not be offered health care. Do not put that in my mouth. Take my name out your mouth. Put some speck on my name.
You know when there's food involved, Chevelle puts his mouth on everything.
Ew. Can we get drops from the show?
That would be fantastic. Yes.
You have got to cut those shorter. It actually gave me enough time to put something in my mouth.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm going to eat your
You need the whole thing in context.
It either needs to be shorter
I think people
or
should
longer.
have health care. I think it should be universal health care. I think it should be single-payer health care. But I think everybody should pay the exact same amount. I don't think that the people who are creating these laws that say that I have to pay or I get penalized should have a different health care plan than I do, that I'm paying for completely. I'm paying for the Senate, the president, and everybody else on the state and the federal payroll to have a better health care plan than me, and I have to pay for my own health care and get penalized.
It should be noted, by the way, that as he's railing on how he doesn't want to have to be penalized for not having health care, he's continuing to stuff deep-fried fat in his mouth.
They're so good.
It's his right as an American.
So good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right.